Pikachu is back and better than ever in the Pokemon TCG, and today we're going to be diving into all the exciting ways you can build around this new card coming out in Surging Sparks. It's already made its debut in Japan this week though, and is making waves in the competitive scene over there thanks to its versatile playstyle. It allows you to knock out massive Stage 2 EX Pokemon and can even tank hits like a champ. This card has something for everyone, and we're here to give you a head start before it releases on November 8th. Now, if you haven't seen Pikachu yet, you're in for a treat. Its signature attack, Topaz Bolt, dishes out an incredible 300 damage, letting it one-shot some of the biggest threats in the meta. For the even bigger targets though, you can just pair it with something like Defiance Band or Maximum Belt to push up your damage even further to take out those Stage 2 EX Pokemon with ease. Alternatively, you could combo it with the new Stadium Gravity Mountain, reducing the HP of Stage 2s in play by 30, effectively just bringing them right into range for Pikachu to KO. The only catch though is when you use the attack, you're gonna have to discard 3 energy, so you do have to manage your resources wisely. Now, Pikachu isn't only dishing out big damage. Thanks to its ability Resolute Heart, it can withstand massive hits. As long as you're at full health, it's going to prevent you from being knocked out by damage if your opponent's trying to one-shot you, leaving you at just 10 HP remaining instead. Combine this with cards like Penny to scoop up Pikachu and then just put it back onto the board. It's like nothing ever happened, you're not giving up any prizes, and you're at full health. It's a little bit terrifying. Just be careful though, as cards like Dusclops and Hawlucha can chip away at a little bit of Pikachu's health, and then it's gonna kind of just shut off your ability and they can get around you, so keep that in mind. Also, attacks that knock you out with effects like Roaring Moon and Giratina, who straight up just say you're knocked out. They don't say they're knocking you out with damage, they're just saying you're knocked out. Yeah, they're still gonna take you out. Putting a Mist Energy on it will fix that matchup, so if you're concerned about that, there is already a tech for it. Just something to keep in mind. One more thing to consider is Pikachu's slightly awkward energy cost though, as it needs a Grass, Lightning, and Steel energy to attack, but don't worry, the new Magneton coming out in Surging Sparks is here to help. Magneton lets you knock it out, then attach 3 basic energy from your discard pile to your Lightning Pokemon in play, making it the perfect partner Pokemon for Pikachu. This strategy not only accelerates energy to your Pokemon in play, but also could put you behind on prizes, letting you use some comeback cards like Defiance Band, which we previously mentioned can be really helpful to take out Stage 2s, or even something like Counter Catcher, giving you gust options without using a supporter for turn for a bit of a cheeky play. Now that we've covered the basics of Pikachu though, let's get in some deck lists to see how you can maximize its potential and dominate the upcoming format. Now the first list we're going to be talking about is pairing it with, well, Noctowl. So Pikachu is a Terra Pokemon, meaning that Noctowl will be online. You can use the ability Jewel Seeker when you evolve up into it, then search your deck for any 2 trainer cards, just adding amazing consistency for your Pikachu. So if you want to get into that Gravity Mountain, reducing Stage 2 Pokemon's HP, you're good. If you need to get into some extra energy, grab yourself an Earthen Vessel, or if you need to get Ultra Balls to find your Magnetons, you could do something like Earthen Vessel, get a Lightning Energy, a Grass Energy, Ultra Ball those away, get yourself into a Magneton, knock out Magneton, get those energy back and onto Pikachu and start swinging for the fences. So yeah, pretty solid combo. Another way in this build you could get energy into play though is by using Jolting. Its attack Jolting Charge lets you search your deck for 2 basic Grass and 2 basic Lightning energy and put them on your Pokemon in play as you'd like. So you could be putting a Lightning and a Grass on one Pikachu and a Lightning on a Grass on another Pikachu, then just a Steel energy for following turns, and you're in a pretty good way. Pikachu isn't the only attacker in this list though. You do have Iron Hands, so you can use Amp You Very Much for 3 colorless and a Lightning, get that on line with Magneton also since you are a Lightning type, or even charge it up with your Joltik, just putting all 4 energy right onto Iron Hands and yeah, just start taking extra prizes. It's not a bad shout, definitely a solid card to have in the deck. Miraidon EX also showing up in here. You can use it as an attacker, hitting for 220 with 2 Lightning and a colorless. Can also power it up with Magneton if you need it in a pinch, but it's mostly in here for the ability Tandem Unit. Once during your turn, you can search your deck for 2 basic Lightning Pokemon and pop them onto your bench. That means you're not going to struggle finding your Magnetons or your Magnemites to get them established, or even just finding your Pikachu and Iron Hands to get into attackers. So yeah, I really like having this card in the list. The rest of it, I feel like it's pretty standard staples. We talked about Penny already, we talked about the new Stadium already, and then the Ace spec was Prime Catcher that we used for this. Just being able to gust up into key pieces, I feel like it's a really solid card to have. Also, Greninja showing up in here, it's a great way to put your energy into the discard pile while drawing into more cards, to then just kind of combo that with Magneton, getting those energy onto your Pikachu. So overall, I think this is a pretty solid list. Feels kind of just very straightforward in what it wants to do, and it shouldn't have any issues getting established. The second list is a second Noctowl take. This one, we've got a Fan Rotom in here just to kind of help you find your Hoot Hoots and your Noctowls very effectively. Get this on the bench, use Fan Call only on the first turn of the game, but find 3 colorless Pokemon from your deck with 100 or less HP, meaning your Noctowls, your Hoot Hoots. It's a great way to get them out. You've also got Squawkabilly for some early game draw power. Just ditch your hand, get into a fresh 6 cards. It's a great way to get your energy into the discard pile for Magneton to then recur. So we have that as a way to do it. Greninja is a way to do it. We've got the Ultra Balls, the Earthen Vessels. Research, you shouldn't have any issue getting your energy in the discard pile so that Magneton's always getting its full value. Iron Hand showing up as a solid backup attacking option for the Pikachu in this list again. So kind of feels similar in concept to the first one, but the key differences being you've got the Rotom, you've got the Squawkabilly, and then the additional draw power of something like Resolute EX. So when Pikachu gets knocked out inevitably, you can just draw into 3 cards. Something to keep in mind, Flip the Script doesn't trigger off knockouts we're giving up on our turn. It's only when our Pokemon are knocked out by the opponent, so taking out a Magneton doesn't mean you can use Serendipity. That'd be a little too broken, but it's still a solid card to have in the list. Other inclusions in this build, you've got Briar, just so in the late game you could be playing this and potentially taking extra prizes with Pikachu, and also Crispin just as another way to get extra energy into play. Search your deck for 2 basic energy of different types. Got 3 different types of energy in here, so Crispin shouldn't have any issues targeting those. 1 into play and then 1 into your hand. So it's just a great way to start to get our Pikachu set up without being fully reliant on Magneton. So theoretically, if you go first, you could be attaching for turn to If you go first, you could attach for turn to Pikachu, then just Crispin the following turn and get it online that way without using Magneton, so it's not a bad shout. The other cards I want to talk about in this list, we do have Area Zero Underdepths. As you've probably noticed, there's a lot of different Pokemon in this build. The previous one was very streamlined in what it wanted to do. This, we're going to have things like Squawkabillies, Rotoms, just kind of eating up bench space. The Noctowls also, once they've been used, they're kind of just dead space. So being able to expand our bench with Area Zero and then just counter our own stadium with Gravity Mountain at some point to shrink it back down and just get those useless pieces off our bench, it's definitely a great call out. Also including a copy of Canceling Cologne, so if you run into something like Mimikyu or Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, you're not going to necessarily be walled by it, and you can take them out with Pikachu. And if you run into like a control deck like Snorlax Stall, you could theoretically just spritz it with a bit of Cologne, get out of the active, go into an attacker. So if they try and bring up like a Noctowl or something, lock it in the active, you do have a way out in that situation. The third build is with Galvantula EX. So having this as a secondary attacker instead of something like Iron Hands or Miraidon just gives you a bit of control option in here. It's going to need fighting energy for it, so it's grass, lightning, and instead of steel, fighting, so we do have to include a 4th energy type. It's a little bit awkward. Magneton can still kind of help to power this up though, so it does give you a way to very effectively put your opponent into an item lock situation. You do 180 damage, discard all the energy from this, but then they can't play any items on their following turn. So into decks that are very reliant on rare candy, Galvantula is a great option. You could be taking knockouts into pre-evolutions or into, maybe they've benched like an EX or a V with low HP, something like a Squawkabilly. Go into it with Galvantula, take 2 prizes, and then they can't rare candy up on the following turn. It's not a bad shout. Do also have Power Glass to combine with the Galvantula, so at the end of your turn, you get an energy card from your discard pile and attach it to the Pokemon that this is attached to. That means Galvantula can just be recurring energy onto itself after it does the big attack. Also means Pikachu can be taking advantage of that too. You have to discard those 3 energy, so getting 1 of them back, then the following turn just attaching 1 for turn, or using something like Crispin to get 1 from your deck and attach it onto the Pikachu does seem like a pretty solid combo. So really enjoying that concept and can't wait to get some playtesting in with this when the set does release. If you do want to get your hands on cards early though, you can always just proxy cards. There'll be a little pop-up on the screen right now if you want an idea of how to go through that. Great website to go for proxy cards is PokemonProxies.com though. I used to make them myself, but have kind of leaned away from it just because time didn't really allow, and they already do a pretty solid job of it. The other things to call out for this list though, the A spec is Sparkling Crystal, so it's just another way you can get your Pikachu or your Galvantula online that little bit faster. So we could theoretically be attacking as early as turn 1 by using something like Sparkling Crystal onto Pikachu, Crispin for turn, attach for turn, you can already swing for 300 damage. So not a bad shout. And the 4th and final list we'll be going over today is a Lost Box variant of it. So if you've played Lost Box before, it's gonna play pretty much the same as how Lost Box has always played. The only difference now is that you have a very big attacking threat in Pikachu. So it's got Grass, Steel, and Lightning added into the list to help pay for the energy cost of here. You've still got your Radiant Greninja and some Water Energy, so if you want to be taking out 2 targets with Moonlight Shuriken, you can technically still do that. Only having 2 counts of the Water Energy, though, it is a little bit tight, so if you're ever seeing these off Colress, you need to keep that in mind. Like, I can't really Lost Zone these. So this is one of those lists where in concept, it could work, and in the right hands, this could be a very powerful deck, but just be very mindful of your resource management. If you prize any of these energy and then you Lost Zone the other one, you're gonna be having a bad time. So just be very aware of what's where. But yeah, Greninja providing you a way to get energy into the discard pile, draw 2 cards while also having Moonlight Shuriken. The energy in the discard pile isn't as necessary for this build. Obviously, we don't have Magneton. The way we're getting energy out is by using Mirage Gate. So we want to get 7 cards in the Lost Zone, use Mirage Gate, get them onto Pikachu. We do also have other attacking options though, so Iron Hands being a great option. Take extra prizes. In the late game, you've got Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, who could theoretically be attacking for free, as well as Sableye. Once you get to 10 cards in the Lost Zone, it's just a great way to set up pings. And Cramorant just to take out some pre-evolutions in the early game and put pressure onto our opponents. I feel like this list kind of speaks for itself. We've covered most of the other cards in here already, and yeah, if you need a run through on the Lost Box deck, not really sure that this is going to be the video to give you that full breakdown of it. It's pretty much just showing you if you want to play Lost Box, Pikachu can be easily slotted in there. Hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button to let me know, and leave a comment to let me know which one of these builds you're going to be trying for yourself, or do you have a completely different idea in mind for when Pikachu releases November 8th. Till next time though, stay golden, you Goombas.